All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a brand new. Sorry about that. Gonna try this again. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a brand new unadulterated Q&A live. How's everybody doing? Hope all y'all doing good. I'm doing good. Now, I was supposed to do this live stream a few weeks ago, but due to the fact the second round series kept on being extended to 6 and 7 games, I had to keep on pushing it back. So since there's no conference finals games on, I figured this was the perfect time to do it. So I'll be answering your questions about the NBA playoffs. Now, this was supposed to live stream on Facebook also, but there's technical difficulty. So it's only being live streamed through YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Get to the chat. Hey, Miss Shalana, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. I'm doing good. Plugs, you still painting? How you been? How's that going? My day was pretty good. What's up, Bruce? How you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for joining me. Glad you're having a good day, Bruce. How you doing, Butterfly? Thank you, Butterfly. Glad you like the backdrop. Okay, I'm still sharing with people on social media that, especially on Facebook, that I'm live here right now. All right, y'all, give me a sec. All right, sorry about this, good people. Miss Shalana, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to donate to the channel, you can donate via super chat or PayPal. Excuse me, super chat or super sticker while I'm live here tonight, or you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. Here's the Cash App cash tag, $ talking and grubbing. Also, here's the PayPal email address, talkingandgrubbing@gmail.com. Any donations you give, I greatly appreciate it. And I'm definitely grateful to all those who have supported the platform, past and present. I greatly appreciate your donations and I appreciate all of your support. I greatly thank you. Now, tonight I'll be taking questions about the NBA playoffs. And the first one I'm going to answer is from Miss Shalana. She posted this question earlier on the community board. She asks, "Hey QC, who is the best player in the NBA playoffs now?" Right now, I gotta say it's Trae Young. Trae Young has definitely had a great coming out party in his first playoff run. He's definitely came up with some clutch shots. He's been solid defensively. He's done a great job of distributing the ball. Now, a close second is Devin Booker. Devin Booker has definitely shined in these playoffs as well. You know, he's finally taking the opportunity after missing the playoffs for 5 or 6 years in his career, and he's making the most of it and has a great chance to get to the NBA Finals in his first playoff run. But we'll see how the rest of this series goes between Clippers. Just like we'll see. Well, we'll wait and see with the outcome of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Hawks and the Bucks. Now, Bruce, you asked me, QC, do you feel D Lillard is gonna stay with Portland or go to the Knicks? I think he'll stay with the Blazers another year, but if he leaves, I don't see him going to the Knicks for some reason. I just don't. I think he'll possibly go to the Lakers to play with LeBron. That's just me. I could be wrong. And he might do a Giannis and stay in Portland. Brucey said, QC, what player you feel is the most disappointing in the playoffs this year? The most disappointing player in the playoffs this year had to be Ben Simmons, bar none. I mean, especially against the Hawks in the semifinals. He didn't step up. He wasn't aggressive. He kept on missing free throws, especially in the most major times. Also, it's like his confidence wasn't there. Especially that's crazy, especially for a guy his size and his talents. You would have thought he definitely would have stepped up, especially in game 7 in his building, but he didn't. It's like he was mentally fragile. So Ben Simmons is definitely the most disappointing player in these playoffs. I mean, yeah, I may have criticized Giannis and even made fun of him for missing his free throws, but at least he was giving effort. Ben Simmons gave no effort whatsoever. None at all. As the game was close in game 7 against the Hawks, he passed up a wide open dunk. Come on, dude. You're 6'10". You can dunk that ball. He was just being a damn soft batch cookie. All right, good people. I got to step away for a moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about, excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, I see another question from Bruce. You said QC, what's your opinion on the refereeing this year's playoffs? I mean, the refereeing, I mean, it's been good for the most part, but there have been some calls they've definitely missed. But it's been better in this playoffs than previous playoffs because I've seen some calls in previous playoffs where the refs miss blatant calls or they didn't, go at punish certain calls hard enough. For example, in 2016 during the Western Conference Finals, when Draymond kicked Steve Adams in the Family Jewels, Draymond should have got a flagrant two and should have been ejected immediately because we've seen players get hit with flagrant twos and get ejected for ticky tack stuff. So the refereeing in this playoffs has been pretty good so far. Miss Shalana, you asked me who will be the NBA champion. Wow, that's a difficult question to answer right now, Miss Shalana, because the four teams that are left in these conference finals, there's a possibility any of them can win it. So there's no clear cut favorite this year. It's really wide open. To me, whoever's the healthiest come finals time, 9 times out of 10 will win the championship. And also, who might be the deepest team and which supporting cast can step up. But there's no clear cut favorite. It's very wide open right now. Any of these four teams can represent their respective conferences in the NBA Finals in a few weeks. Butterfly, you asked me, do you think the Clippers have a chance to win it all? Yeah, they got a pretty good chance of winning it all. If PG keeps playing the way he's been playing, also, if guys like Mann, Jackson, Morris, Zubac, Rondo, if all of them can step up, they can definitely win it all. And that would be one great story if the Clippers ended up winning it all, especially with Kawhi being out. That would be one of the greatest stories in the NBA. Got another question from Ben. I mean, not Ben, excuse me. I'm thinking about Ben Simmons. My apologies, Bruce. You said QC, do you feel home court is the true advantage to the home team this year in the playoffs? No. We just saw it the last 48 hours, Bruce. Both road teams won game 7. The Bucks ended up beating the Nets on their home floor, and the Hawks just beat the 76ers on their home floor. So this year, home court advantage ain't really home court advantage. I mean, look at the Clippers. They went into game 5 in Utah without Kawhi and won in that. Excuse me. Let me rephrase that. The Clippers, they went into Utah in game 5 and won without Kawhi. So really, there's no home court advantage this year. And I definitely think all four teams are capable of winning on each other's floor. I definitely think the Clippers can win a game in Phoenix. I think the Hawks can win a game in Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee can win a game in Atlanta. Vice versa with the Suns. Bruce, you got another question. You said, QC, do you feel it's just the accident that they got so many injuries in the playoffs with Kawhi, the Beard, Kyrie, LeBron, and AD, all who are superstars out with injuries? No, I don't think that. I mean, it's a freak occurrence this year that all these superstars are out during the playoffs. And also, what hurt them is they came back too soon. What I mean by that, they came back too soon starting the season. They were all just coming off of the bubble, especially if you went deep into the playoffs last year. You're definitely feeling the effects of the bubble. The Lakers definitely felt the effects of it because they got to the finals and ended up winning it all. So this is the after effects of that. Plus, AD, he didn't take care of his body after he won that championship. He was still living off of the high of last year. And he knew that this was going to be, he was only going to have short time to rest coming off of that championship. He should have been, conditioning his body. But he was living off of that high. Same with a lot of other players. They should have spent some more time conditioning their bodies because they knew that it was going to be a very short off season for them, especially if they went second round or more into the playoffs. All right, good people. I got to step away for a moment. Once again, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about that. Got another question from Bruce. You said QC so far, what was your favorite food to grub on during the playoffs? Oh man. You hit me with a tough one, Bruce. So much to grub. That was a lot that I was grubbing on. But it has to be, definitely has to be my sister-in-law's desserts, man. Those were those. Well, that's the main favorite food that I like to grub, that I enjoy grubbing on during the playoffs so far. You also gave me another question, Bruce. You said QCIC on ESPN that maybe Zion wants to get out of the Pelicans. Do you feel they will trade him for a first round pick and some good players? It all depends which team it is, because if he's talking about going to, say, a New York or LA, something like that, they're not going to get much for him. They're not going to get a lot for Zion. So Zion's best bet is to just stay with the Pelicans until his contract is up, because they're not going to get much for him if he goes to, say, a contending team or a pretty good team. You also asked me another question, Bruce. You said, QC, if Brooklyn tells Nash he not wanted back, who do you feel will be the next coach of the Nets? Oh man, the possibilities are endless with that team. You got three superstars in KD, Kyrie, and Harden on the same team. A lot of coaches are going to want to line up to coach that team. They'll probably look at D'Antoni first because he was Nash's assistant and he has head coaching experience. But I would look at Mark Jackson, Rick Carlisle, those type of coaches. I would definitely look at those two. They would be high on my list if that were to happen, but I don't think it will. Butterfly, you asked me, what do you think of KD going to Team USA for the Olympics? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. He wants that Olympic gold medal like other great all-time greats like Jordan, Magic, Kobe. I don't see anything wrong with KD wanting to play in the Olympics. Not at all. Y'all can definitely ask me some more questions, because also I have a question for y'all coming up in a few minutes. So come on, keep the questions going. Okay, Bruce, you have another question. You said, QC, do you feel if Pop or Spoelstra was coaching Brooklyn, then they win the series versus the Bucks? It's a definite possibility that they'll win. I mean, nothing's guaranteed, Bruce, because we've seen, Pop lose in the playoffs. We've also seen Spoelstra lose in the playoffs. I'll say their chances might be better, but I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, because nothing's guaranteed. All right. Anybody has it? Does anybody have any more questions to ask in the chat? Miss Shalana, you asked me, are you disappointed that the Lakers didn't get far in the playoffs? No, I'm not disappointed because the injury bug hit them, and also they ran up on a young, hungry team in the Suns. You know, the Suns were the better team in that series, and plus they were more deeper than the Lakers. I always said, and I said this to Kenny of Opinion But Facts and OBF The Real, y'all subscribe to his channels. I said that series changed in game 4 when the Suns had that big second half and just blew the Lakers out. I knew that series was over from there. Once the Suns blew the Lakers out late in that game 4, I figured the Suns were going to win that series either in 6 or 7 games. So, no, I'm not disappointed, Miss Shalana, that the Lakers didn't go far in the playoffs because they just ran up on a better team in the Suns. Plus, you know, the AD injury definitely ultimately did them in. Butterfly, you asked me, do you think some refs favorite teams? I mean, I won't say they blatantly favorite teams. I think they get more influence on that from the NBA office. I don't think it's the refs themselves. Now, can they have a bias or maybe some personal beef against certain players? Yeah, but I don't think refs favorite teams. You know, individually, I think they get more of that pressure from the NBA offices. Bruce, you asked me, QC, what team who didn't make the playoffs do you feel could have done it if they make it? Okay, a team that made the playoffs that couldn't. Well, the Warriors. The Warriors definitely could have made the playoffs if they would have had a healthy Klay Thompson. You know, Steph did his thing, but you can tell, especially through those playing games, it was all Steph. Andrew Wiggins was up and down. You know, a lot of other players didn't show up. But if they would have had a healthy Klay Thompson, he definitely would have been there to help Steph carry the scoring load. So I definitely think the Warriors. Plugs, you ask me, how are they going to stop all these flops? You can't. The NBA has let them get away with it for so long. You can't. It's the floodgates have opened now. You're never gonna stop flops. Bruce, you asked me, QC, what do you feel about the fans staying so close to the floor with COVID-19 and all the misbehavior? Yeah, the NBA definitely needs to do something about that, especially with this pandemic and also the few incidents we saw during the playoffs, like the popcorn being dumped on Westbrook's head, the Knicks fans spitting at Trae Young, Ja Morant's family being called all kind of racial slurs, and also the Jazz fans saying crude sexual innuendos about his mother, as well as the Wizards fan running onto the floor, the Sixers fan throwing debris on the floor at the end of Game 7. The NBA definitely needs to do something about that. Maybe they need to either eliminate courtside seats or they should do what hockey does, put barriers around the arena in the front rows. You also asked me, Bruce, do you feel they should make the tickets more affordable for regular people so they could go and also have a good time? I mean, it doesn't matter how many prices you pay. I mean, the price of your ticket, there's still some assholes out here, no matter if they're sitting in the front row or in the nosebleed so high that they could just reach out and touch the Lord. You know, fans are going to be fans, unfortunately. Because the fan who dumped the popcorn on Westbrook's head, he wasn't in the front row. His seat was up high. Just like the Warriors minority owner who pushed Kyle Lowry during the finals a couple years ago, he had a front courtside seat. So it doesn't matter the price of the ticket. You just gonna have some fans that gonna act some damn fools. Y'all tripping with these comments, man. Bruce, you said QC. I saw that in Brooklyn, one ticket at low cost is more than 150. Oh, I can believe it. I can definitely believe that, Bruce. Especially one, you're in Brooklyn. You know, you're in New York. Two, you know they're a draw right now. You got KD, Harden, and Kyrie. They're a major draw, so of course ticket prices are going to be that expensive. I mean, Bruce, I'm sorry. You also said QC. I feel the player got to stand up to the management and say, "No, we're not going to put in risk." LT said, "Talking if Ben Simmons go to the Lakers or Warriors, that's going to be a huge mistake." I agree. If that happens, those GMs need their heads examined. Brucey said, "No, QC. I mean, I could never afford to go to the game for the ticket cost. Too much money." Yeah. Butterfly, you said, Bruce, that's probably in the mezzanine. Possibility. You also said, I've been to many Spurs games. Okay, Butterfly, what's the average cost of a ticket for a Spurs game? Bruce, you said, but QC, do you feel that it's fair for fans? Oh, sorry about that, good people. Had a technical issue there. My apologies. Bruce, you said, but QC, do you feel that it's fair for fans that would like to go? Unfortunately, that's how the Nets set up their prices. Man, y'all gotta excuse me. I'm having some buffering issues with my Wi-Fi. No, man, it's just straight up Q&A plugs. There's no dinner tonight. Bruce, you said QC, but you feel they should lower the prices so we can go? Yeah, they should. They definitely should lower the prices for, you know, everyday working fans to go. But unfortunately, and especially Brooklyn, come on. Brooklyn is expensive, dude. Brooklyn has heavily been gentrified. So they're definitely not going to lower the ticket prices. I definitely agree with you, Bruce. They should lower the ticket prices so the average everyday working fan should go. But unfortunately, they're not going to do it because one, that's a heavily, that's a lot of upper middle class people have moved into Brooklyn now. So it's been heavily gentrified. So it'll be hard for you to get a ticket. Wow, Butterfly, the mezzanine's $50 to 1,500. Wow. No, on the floor it's 1,500. LT Ben Simmons need to go to the Pistons Magic of the Kings. Okay, Bruce, you asked me another question. You said, QC, do you feel Trey the number one player so far in the playoffs? Yeah, definitely. He's had a sensational playoff so far, but Devin Booker's not too far behind, and so is Giannis. Butterfly, you said I have met KD in person. How was he, Butterfly, when you met him? Plugs, you said first level of seats is taken by most businesses, and they give seats away to customers. True, that's definitely true. Plugs. Bruce, you also said QC. I feel Booker's doing a good job and could win the MVP for the playoffs. Yeah, but unfortunately, they don't give MVP. The only way they give MVP for the playoffs is the finals MVP. So Booker has to get to the finals and win them. And win it, excuse me. Butterfly, you say he was sweet. He took a picture with my middle school students. Okay, that was cool. Definitely give the kids something to remember for the rest of their lives. That was definitely a cool gesture by KD. LT said, talking, who do you who do you have going to the finals next year? It could be the Rockets, Warriors, Nets, Lakers, Clippers, who knows? And I think Kawhi Leonard is gonna stay in the Clippers. My main two would be the Nets because I think they'll be fully healthy next year, and the Clippers. Now the Lakers, they can get back if they make some quality moves in free agency. Don't count them out. We definitely got to see what Rob Pelinka does in this offseason. So I'm putting the Lakers as a dark horse for next year. All right, good people, I got to go away again for a moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about that. Bruce, you feel the Suns are going to win the Western Conference Finals? LT said next year, I'll say is either Nets versus Warriors or Nets versus Lakers or Nets and Clippers. Okay, I can see that. Butterfly, you said Clips or Suns versus the Hawks. Okay. Breach, you said QC, I feel ATL is going to surprise the Bucks and Trey going to go to the finals. We'll definitely see. We will definitely see. Butterfly, you said at the Spurs game, the arena is the best place to sit. Floor arena, then the mezzanine floor is way too expensive. Mezzanine is steep, and to the exit going down is the only way. Okay, I've definitely been wanting to go to San Antonio and check out a Spurs game. Bruce, you asked me QC if you had to pick one player only for the best defense in the playoffs so far. If his team loses, who would you pick? Oh wow, that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. So if I had to pick the player with the best defense so far, even if his team loses, I gotta go with DeAndre Ayton of the Phoenix Suns. He's definitely played some great defense in these playoffs so far. Now I don't know he's still playing, but look at the assignments he's had to face in the first two rounds. First round, he had to guard AD. Second round, he had to guard the MVP and Jokic. Now he really doesn't have a challenge here in this series with the Clippers because the Clippers have no true big man. I mean, Zubac is solid, but he's down on the level of AD and Jokic. But I gotta say, Aiden of the Suns has been playing the best defense, and he doesn't get any credit. I mean, everybody gives props to Booker and CP3, and rightfully so, but Aiden needs some love too as well. He's definitely played well in these playoffs. LT asked me talking, do you know when Clay is coming back? I know it's next season, LT, but I don't have a certain date or certain time limit of when he's coming back. I don't know if he'll be ready for the first game of next season, so I don't have the answer for that right now. Bruce, you said QCU 100 on that. I agree. He's been amazing. Aiden, I feel, is the best so far by far. Definitely. He has definitely been playing the best defense in the playoffs so far. And he definitely needs to get more credit, for his contributions to this Suns team. Bruce, you said QC, I knew you were going to say Aiden for you've been watching everything. Definitely. LT, you said, okay, it's cool. I appreciate it. No problem. No problem. Now, I have a question for everybody that's watching this live stream right now. Now, the four remaining teams, most people would say they play in mid to small markets, with the exception of, really, with the exception of Atlanta. I mean, no, LA. People still consider Atlanta, Atlanta is more of a 1B big market. That's how I'll put it. They're not up there with New York, LA, and Chicago, but they ain't at the bottom at the totem pole either. They're 1B. They're close. So, a lot of YouTubers, even myself, we've had this discussion, these last few days. Do you feel that these players need to be in bigger markets to shine, Or do you feel they can shine where they are right now, where they with their respective teams? Do you feel Giannis has to go to LA or Miami, New York, or he can shine and be a superstar in Milwaukee? Same with Trae Young, same with Devin Booker. I definitely want to know your thoughts on that because there's definitely been debates about it. A lot of people feel the media is trying to do their best to push these stars into bigger markets so they can get more money and more ratings. And also, a lot of these analysts now and reporters are just extremely biased towards certain cities. Like, for example, Stephen A. Smith last year was hoping that it would be a Lakers and Heat finals just so he could go to LA and Miami. Guess what? There was a Heat and Lakers NBA finals, but the ironic thing is it was at Disney World in the bubble. So I definitely want to know what's y'all thoughts. Do you think these guys have to be in a bigger market to shine, or they can really shine where they are right now? Bruce, you said QC, I feel they got to be in the bigger markets for they get the most TV time, and that is what the players want, so he can make make money. Well, I kind of gotta disagree with that, Bruce, because look at Giannis. The Bucks get a lot of TV time, and he doesn't play in New York, LA, or Chicago or Miami. The Bucks get a lot of primetime games for them to be a mid to small market team. The reason why Trae Young ain't been getting that shine because the Hawks have been garbage for so long until this year. I definitely think the Hawks are going to get a lot more exposure, come next season due to the fact of this playoff run that they're having right now. Excuse me. I definitely think the Hawks are going to get more primetime exposure now because now they're more of an elite. They're starting to climb up to elite status. They're not there yet, but they're climbing up there. If they can land a major free agent in the offseason, they'll definitely be true championship contenders. And also, y'all got to get out of this myth of thinking that if the players in a bigger market, the more TV time they'll get, the more money they'll get. That's not true. They're already getting that money. They're already getting the money. It's not like, okay, they'll get, say, an extra 10 million if they play in Miami. That's not true. Same thing with Booker. The reason why the Suns haven't been on TV so much because they were bad for so long. But now since they're having this run, and especially if CP3 stays, they're going to have more primetime games come next year, no matter what happens in these series, no matter if they get to the NBA finals or lose here in the conference finals, or if they win it all. Bruce, you said QC, I would like if the NBA should say to Stephen A. he is not allowed to go to any NBA games anymore as he's causing problems. Butterfly Hawks deserve it now, definitely. Like I said, I definitely think the Hawks are going to get more shine come next season, especially with this playoff run they're having. And if they don't try to get them more primetime games next year and try to really market Trae Young, something's wrong with the NBA because you got a great young superstar here who can carry the league or be one of the carriers of the league for years to come, and you're not promoting him because of the city he plays in. And like I said, Atlanta ain't chopped liver now. Like I said, they're a 1B market. And that's not dissing Atlanta at all. I'm not dissing any Atlanta at all for those who are watching or listening. But they're right there with New York, Chicago, LA, because look at the two major networks are there in Atlanta. You got CNN and TNT. So it's definitely a major media market. Atlanta's definitely been coming up as that for the past 30 something years. Bruce, you said, but QC, I feel they get the opportunity to get more money. So that is why the King went to the Lake Show. That's not true. Bruce, that's not true. That's not true. Y'all keep on thinking, well, the NBA gives you more money if you're in a bigger market. That's not true. According to the Bird rules, the Lakers can't give LeBron any more money because he wasn't their guy originally. And also, LeBron was getting shine everywhere he went. He was getting his shine in Cleveland. He was getting his shine in Miami. LeBron is one of the few players that can transcend a market and can transcend a city. One of the few. A lot of other players can't do that. Now, some will need bigger markets, but LeBron is one of the few who can transcend any place. It's not like, oh, well, LeBron, oh, well, now LeBron's global because he's in LA. No. No. Because LeBron was already his own brand. So he really didn't really need any. He could have went any market and just blew that up. Bruce, you said, do you think bigger markets will get players more TV and shoe deals? That to me, that used to be like 30 some years ago, but I don't think that's true now because now the NBA is more global, and also you got NBA League Pass. Also, you got streaming services like Hulu Plus, as well as YouTube TV, and many others. I'm forgetting the names now, but back then you needed the bigger markets to get more TV time, but it's not really like that anymore. And as far as shoe deals, if the stars that really transcending, they could be anywhere and shine and sell a lot of shoes as well as a lot of jerseys. Look, I'm gonna use LeBron again. LeBron played in Cleveland. His jersey was always top 10, even when he was in Cleveland twice. It's not like his jersey sales were like number 20 or something because he played in Cleveland. No, they were always top 10. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel they got to put Trey on TV for he is the superstar and he only 22, so they can ride on his back for many years. Exactly. He could be one of the carriers of the league for a long period of time, and he could do it while playing in Atlanta. Y'all got to get out of this. Well, NBA players got to be in these bigger markets. No, they don't. That's bullshit. That is straight bullshit. Especially now because it's being proven. Look at these playoffs. Look who we're talking about. Like I said, Giannis. Giannis plays in a mid to small market in Milwaukee. Bucks get a lot of primetime games despite him playing in that city. Bruce, you said, QC, that's what the NBA is about. That is riding on the back of all the great players so their owners can make all the money. Oh, of course. Butterfly, you said Kawhi turned down more money, over $2 million, if he would have taken the super max with the Spurs. Same with Toronto. He definitely could have signed the max with the Raptors. Bruce, you said QC. That's the fact in all sports, especially the NFL and the NBA. They take the great players like LeBron and Mahomes or KD, Saquon, and use them up, throw them away in the garbage when they get hurt. Definitely true. But you know what? I know people got their issues with the NFL, but the NFL has definitely done a better job of marketing its superstars especially the stars that don't play in major markets. As long as the team is good and contending, hey, that star gonna get shine. Like Mahomes, he plays in Kansas City. That's a mid-level market. Um, Aaron Rodgers, he plays in a small market in Green Bay. Yeah, they're one of the more historical franchises, but still, Green Bay is still a small market. That's not a major market at all. But that man still has commercial after commercial, endorsement deal after endorsement deal. LT said, "Talking, do you got any sports hats or jerseys?" Yeah, I got a lot of Cleveland stuff. LT, I still got the Cavs championship hat from 16. I also got the Indians World Series hat from 16. I got an OBJ jersey, Browns jersey. But I do want to get some more stuff in the near future, though. I do want to get other teams' gear. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel you make the good points on that. They could play in the small markets. Of course. Because, like I said, the NBA is more global now. And also, folks can see their favorite teams on cable, internet, streaming services. It's been the NBA has done a horrible job at marketing because in their minds they still think, well, we need all these players in these major markets so we can get the most money. And also, we gotta say the media is involved with this too because they only want to go to certain places. Matter of fact, I gotta, agree with Charles Barkley, and I'm not a big Charles Barkley fan, but I heard him on a podcast. This was after LeBron had returned to Cleveland, and he said, and he called out a lot of biased NBA reports. He said, they make me mad because they just want to be in South Beach all the time and hate the fact that they now got to go to Cleveland to cover LeBron, talking about it's too cold in Cleveland, which is bullshit. They really wanted to say, I just hate Cleveland because it's Cleveland. They just using the weather as an excuse because he said it's cold in Chicago, it's cold in Boston, it's cold in New York. Cleveland's being cold in Cleveland ain't no different being in any other cold weather city. Bruce, you said QC, someday I feel the players need to get together and say, no, we're not going to do this anymore. They got to demand some ownership value for their services. Yeah, but all the players got to get on one page. It can't just be like a small group. All of them got to be organized. Bruce, you also said QC, then we can start being in management and ownership, and that's what it's all about. Equality. Definitely. LT said, yeah, talking in the near future. I'm trying to get a hat collection. I'm trying to get one right now, but it's gonna take time. I gotta be patient. I agree. Definitely takes time to build up a collection. Butterfly, you said Mahomes is set for life now, even if he gets injured as well. As most players, as most of the players now. That's true. That's very true. That is definitely true. All right, good people. I gotta step away for a moment. Once again, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about that. Let me get to your comments. Bruce, you said QC, I feel you're right in that when they got to hire some person who will organize for them and get fixed, I feel it's the big mistake to give it up for no ownership or management. I see your point. Butterfly, you said the Jazz is a smart market team and they were awesome. Definitely. And also, um, Karl Malone, John Stockton played their whole career. Well, most of their careers in Utah, if not their whole careers, because we all know Malone went to the Lakers at the end of his career. But they stayed with Utah, San Antonio. That's another small market team that had a bunch of success. I mean, they won 5 championships over a 15-year period. That's unheard of in any sport except the Patriots, of course. All right, Butterfly, thanks for coming on. Sorry about that. But all right, good people. That's all right, good people. That will about do it for this unadulterated Q&A live. I thank all of y'all for joining me. It's been fun answering all y'all questions, but I gotta go, and I'll definitely be doing another one soon. I'll post that online on social media to let y'all know when I'm doing another one. I definitely enjoy answering all y'all questions about the NBA playoffs as well as the NBA in general. Make sure you're back here tomorrow night for two things. First, at 8 o'clock, it'll be the NBA draft lottery. Then at 9 o'clock, it'll be game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Let's see if the Clippers can bounce back and tie this series at 1 game apiece, or will the Suns take a 2-0 lead? Once again, I thank all y'all for your viewership and support. If you want to donate to the channel, you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. Here's the Cash App cash tag, $ talking and grubbing. And here's the PayPal email address, talkingandgrubbing@gmail.com. Any donations to the platform, I greatly appreciate it. Also, the audio version of this Q&A live will be posted on the podcast at anchor.fm. Let me give y'all the link. I will be posting it sometime this week. All right, we have to get y'all the link. All right, here's the link for the Unadulterated podcast. You can listen to the previous episodes on there as well as other podcasting platforms. I thank all y'all again for joining me and asking me all these questions. So until tomorrow, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. Salute. Y'all be safe.